that's what our next topic really lies on, which is effortless data protection, leveraging data classification, adaptive protection, and DLP. So can we put both our hands together and give a warm welcome to Ms. Ravisha Chugh, Product Marketing Lead, Fortra. Extending a warm welcome to you. Where is the energy, audience? Come on, a louder round of applause for all our keynote session speakers. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're not tired by this point of time and that attempted me to choose a topic which is as simple as not talking about AI and quantum computing, but to begin with some very basic things that we need every day. So I am Ravisha Chugh, the Product Marketing Lead at Fortra, and I'll be speaking about how you can manage your data protection strategy effortlessly by using some simple techniques like data classification, DLP, and adaptive protection. So let's begin. A lot of times when we think about data, we always think about the influences to it and how can we eventually control the data protection. And there's a huge storm here wherein sometimes it's also forcefully. So it's sometimes through our digital journey as we have moved to cloud. It's also through our work from home environment. So there are a lot of data breaches going on these days wherein people are working from home, and that's why it's guaranteeing a data leakage. And then on top of it, we have our users who are trying to do their job. They're simply doing their job, but there can be accidents. They might send a sensitive information through an email to a wrong recipient. Or there can be a chance that they are simply doing collaboration and creating a free Dropbox account, and then further, a sensitive information is being leaked. So how do we control it? Whenever we think about control, I know a lot of organizations, they have implemented cloud security. They have implemented network security, endpoint security, and a lot of other security tools as well. But we never think about our data. We never think about implementing a simple tool like DLP. We always think about implementing security levels at the perimeter level itself. And that's why threat prevention is never equal to data protection. So in terms of data protection, today we'll learn about how can we control our data, and this sensitive information should be not shared outside externally. So let's learn about some of the key elements here. And I know, like, the core problem in security is actually people and the data. So people who are trying to do their job, and data which we need to be protected. Through that, we see traditional approaches here. So wherein we see traditional approaches, they are no longer effective because we always think about perimeter security. But when we'll keep the data at the center, when we'll keep the data at the center of the zero trust framework, we can eventually focus on overall data security. So let's learn about the complete data life cycle here. Begin with identifying your data, identifying where your sensitive data is, and then classifying it. I mean, just prioritizing your data. You need to know which is your sensitive data, which is your public data, or which is as simple as your internal data. Through that, you can further create some control policies, create some remediation actions that if a user is trying to send a sensitive information outside, then there has to be a policy that needs to control it. And then finally, you need to protect it. You can protect it through encryption or some data masking techniques. Now, this was, I know, little simple here, but when we go to the market, we see vendors, they are focusing on different things. There would be a separate vendor that would be for DLP. There would be a separate vendor for data classification, and there would be another one for encryption. And a lot of time, our organizations as well, organizations usually have separate team for each one of them. But I think we really need a solution like Fortra that can eventually help you to create a data protection strategy that combines each one of them. And not only just DLP and data classification, but adaptive protection as well. So creating a solution, creating a platform-based approach that can eventually use these three solutions together can really help you in terms of gaining an effective data security strategy. So let's begin with data classification. And in this session, we'll also learn about each one of them, like why this is important and how we should focus on each one of them. So if we speak about data classification, it not only just increases the efficacy of DLP, so it will not only help you to have a perfect DLP solution or a perfect DLP policy, but it will also create employee awareness. Then coming to DLP, it's a tool that everyone needs. Every organization needs a tool like DLP because there are people who are trying to do their job, and then eventually it can lead to data leakage. So there are intentional and unintentional data losses. But these two themes of data classification and DLP, I know everyone would have heard by this point of time. These two markets are quite mature. But the third one is adaptive protection. So oftentimes when we speak about data protection, we just focus on, yes, this is our data, and we need to focus on the data protection and create policies related to it. But what we actually need is adaptive protection. We not only need a content-based approach, like just classifying our data and creating policies according to the sensitive and the non-sensitive information, but we also need a contextual approach. We also need our users and track our user behavior and how they are actually using the data. A common example of it is a lot of times we see a finance-based member in our team regularly sending a sensitive information and downloading a sensitive information from their financial portal. But there can be a chance that we skip that DLP policy, and eventually his or her work that he's been doing for so long is being exfiltrated. So a lot of times there can be a scenario that a person who is downloading just 5 MB of data, it suddenly becomes 10 MB. But because we don't have a DLP policy, we skip through that. So adaptive protection will eventually help us to gain a much more contextual overview. Now, like I promised, we learn about each one of them. So why data classification, why it is crucial? First of all, it reduces the business friction. It helps us in terms of mishandled data. So if someone has mislabeled information, then it will easily be rectified through it. Then it enhances the data protection suite strategy, meaning data classification helps us to have a perfect DLP or a perfect CASB policy as well. And then lastly, it helps us to train our users, because eventually none of the tools can help us. It's users, they are always the last line of defense for us. In terms of data classification, there are a lot of tools in the market today doing each one of them or every 3 of them. It's content-based classification, wherein there would be a tool that would automatically scan your file or document and then would tag it accordingly. There is context-based classification, wherein tools will help you to create that general awareness. So they'll tell you whether it's a finance-based document or a marketing document or a HR document. And third, it's the user-based classification, where tools also allow you users to tag or label the document. But trust me, data classification is not just enough. So data classification will help you in terms of tagging or labeling or creating awareness in the organization, but it doesn't guarantee any protection. Protection would be guaranteed by DLP, provided you have those perfect policies defined for it. And that's why there are solutions that can help you in terms of email DLP, cloud DLP, endpoint DLP, because users can send sensitive information outside through email. They can also just copy a file through a USB drive, or they can transfer a sensitive information to their personal Gmail account. So each and every one of this is important. And like I said, there are various tools in the market today, but Fortra can help you in terms of applying all these DLP tools through one platform. So we can provide you not only a simple email DLP, but also network, cloud, and endpoint DLP. Now, lastly, as I was speaking a lot about adaptive protection, I know it's like a buzzword in the market as well, but it's really important, trust me, because a lot of times when we speak about DLP, data protection, data classification, we always think about the left side. We always think about the content-based or content-centric view to our data classification or DLP. But what we need to think more is around the context. So we need to also analyze our users, how users are behaving, how they are eventually tracking the content, how they are trying to send the sensitive information outside. So there should be policies defined that are not only just content focused, but also user focused. With this, I'll guide you with some of the Fortra solutions that we have. So today, we were all speaking about data protection. And in terms of data protection, we have multiple solutions that can do things from data discovery to classification to encryption and DLP as well. But not just this, we also have digital risk protection, email security, secure file transfer, and a lot more. All these solutions would be integrated soon into a one platform, not one platform that would provide you everything, but identities can be connected together. So yeah, it's a wonderful solution. If you want to learn more about it, or if you have any questions related to it, meet us at booth number 7, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you all for listening.